How's it going, everybody? I am Preston Johnson.
Welcome to
Last Word Cheetah, brought to you by Bets TV.
As a general philosophy.
That's exactly right. You're a fish.
Qwan, by the way, my producer, Qwan Young, doing a good job. He'll be taking the calls. How you doing today, bud?
Hey, man, how are you?
We appreciate you guys tuning in. Welcome to the show, Bets TV, bringing you Last Word Cheetah. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Last Word Cheetah, brought to you by Bets TV here in the Bets TV studios in Southern California. I am Preston Johnson, your host. What a day. It's been a crazy day for me to this point. It's going to be a crazy day for Carlos, our good friend, longtime caller on Last Word Cheetah. Wins last night with the Lions to score first touchdown. He's through to day 5 of Who Wants to Be a Betting Extraordinaire. No one's gotten through day 3. If he picks an MLB underdog tonight correctly, again, this is in an hour, we're going to go live. He wins $2,500, and then he's 2 picks from $25,000. So I'm rooting for him. We got Sportscheetah, baseball expert, coming on before to break down the question. Carlos can gather some info. He can go with what Jason thinks, Sportscheetah thinks. He can go with his own gut. He can ask me. He can poll Twitter, whatever he wants, but I'm stoked. Look, we're not going to have, I think, too many opportunities where the guy who calls in early this summer and says, hey, I need the money. I got to win one of these months. He calls in every day trying to grind, getting these picks. He's firing parlays. He has a chance to pocket $2,500. So I hope it happens. Qwan, how are you doing today?
The Lions lost.
By the way, that question, the reason I thought the Lions was the best play, I was like, hey, look, they can score the first TD.
First drive, yeah.
And have the ball first. You never know after the coin toss who's even going to get it first. And they could still not even cover 11.5. And sure enough, they're winning at halftime outright. Give up 21 straight, I believe, right? 21-0 in the second half, lose by 18. Look, only the Lions.
You text me after the Hawk touchdown.
Well, you said you had him in fantasy, so you won the week. That's why.
Yeah. And then I realized this, like last night, I was going up against Aaron Jones, so got smoked.
Oh.
Yeah.
I literally asked, it's just all you have is Hawkinson and you're down 6. And I said, all right, you're good. Oh, no, never mind. The other guy has the better player.
Yeah. Small oversight.
It's okay. Yeah. That means that you're 1-1 now in that league?
Yep.
I'm 2-0. So that's at least $50 that's going to myself.
I know I'm not at least at the bottom.
That is true. All right. By the way, rumor has it the phone lines are working. You weren't in yesterday. We literally got a message from the provider that does our phone lines that says that we've been hacked and the industry is being hacked by bad guys.
Come on.
And I thought it was a joke, but they were serious. They moved us over to a different data server of some sort. So far, it's been working on our tests right before the show started. If not, we're going to pull up, shoot some messages in the chats, Periscope 1 or YouTube. We'll follow along if you have comments or if there's plays you want to lock in for today, for the weekend. We're doing week 4 college football, week 3 NFL, plenty to cover. And by the way, I did my sides yesterday for college football. I'm moving up and doing totals today because of the market last week when we waited until Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening even on the East Coast. It just had moved too much for totals. So we're going to hit them earlier, hopefully get a couple better numbers and a couple better opportunities. I'm not sure why Kevin just quote tweeted us. Kevin, what are you doing? By the way, we have calls. We're going to take those. Oh, my gosh. We look like Mormon missionaries. Did you see this? Kevin quote tweeted, it's you and I. I'm super skinny. Thanks, Kevin. Who's up first, man? Let's put him through. Yeah. Jamie's up first. All right. Jamie, this is Jamie, KBO Jamie, right?
Yes.
Okay, you're on the show. How are you doing?
We lost them.
Oh, so the phone lines.
The bad guys are back.
Phone lines may not be working.
No.
Look, he had a first 5 under in KBO. He DM'd me yesterday. I don't think it won. It was the LG Twins under 4.5. All right, I'm going to have to pull up this stream. If you have bets you want to lock in for the leaderboard for September, which that reminds me, I was going to bring a deck of cards. I forgot. I'll do it tomorrow. We're going to play games during the show for money to go into your prize pool for the month, which, by the way, Tom Davis, can you put up the leaderboard? He's won 5 straight. He was break even. He's on a heater. He's now passed up Christian and Patrick, who Christian hasn't been calling in. He started super hot. He hasn't been able to call back in, I don't think, for like a week and a half. Christian, you're in second. But Tom Davis in first might win back-to-back months. So that's where we're at. But, yeah, if you guys want to place a bet and lock it in, it appears our phone lines may still be down. You have someone on? All right, we're going to try Tone. All right, maybe Tone has the magic touch. What's up, man?
What's good, Preston?
Things are good. I'm well. Today's been a good day. It's exciting news I can tell you guys about in a couple weeks. What are you doing? What's up?
That pussy hole yesterday, Cam, he started talking shit about my pick, but what happened?
Well, I looked, and your pick was correct, and you won. Robbie Ray did not win the game.
There's some incredible, static thing going on here. I don't know. I guess they're just really hacking. They're
hacking away.
On.
They're like, oh, Tone's on. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy calls in for a week. I was serving my suspension, and then he wants to chirp. He just takes all your picks and calls them in, which I don't understand the point of that, but we'll get past that. He's, some people are just soft individuals.
We lost him. Soft individuals. Look, I thought it was a favorite that Tone would call right back in after Cam needled him yesterday, went the other way and said Robbie Ray is going to win the Cy Young, and therefore I'm betting on the Blue Jays. Interestingly enough, he didn't get absolutely blasted, but he only lasted 4 and 2/3, I think. He gave up 3 runs, a bunch of hits, a couple walks. He strikes out a ton, but it wasn't the greatest performance. Garrett Cole had a bad one the night before. Look, the door's a little more open than it was. Maybe Tone's right. Maybe Robbie Ray actually loses the Cy Young in the American League. I think what we should do is just not bother with the phone lines. We have a backup plan for who wants to be betting extraordinaire. Since Carlos has 2,500 on the line, we're going to use a link and do video, but then we won't actually show Carlos's face on the video. So we have a way to make sure Carlos gets his chance at 2,500.
We don't want to see him in the bathroom.
That's a good point, actually. Forgot about it. Half the time he calls, he's in the bathroom at work. Or he goes to his car to pick something up real quick.
His boss better not be a fan, or he's going to need that
he would have been
doxxed
by now, found. Yeah, I respect. This is what's interesting, because he really did say at the beginning, I need the extra cash, guys. Let's make this happen. And then here he is with the shot. I'll tell you this, the MLB dogs that we're using for the question, I can't make them plus 101. That was day 3 level. This is day 5. But they're still in the plus 180s range. So theoretically, if you go no vig price on that, it's going to be plus 175, 36 to 37%. Yeah, maybe a little lower. Depends on what the implied no vig is. But regardless, don't mind me. But he's winning 2,500, a decent amount of time, over 1/3 of the time, and maybe even higher if Jason likes one of them quite a bit over another and he decides to roll with him. What's up?
We got 2 bets in the YouTube chat.
Okay, what are we looking at?
We got Sked, which is Nick from Iowa, about to walk into a doctor's appointment, so won't be able to call in. But if you're taking bets in the chat,
we are.
Texas A&M -4.5, -112 on FanDuel.
All right, well, I'll check real quick. It's interesting. Someone called in yesterday. Do you remember? They were like, hey, is it a buy low on A&M? I still don't know what to make of that performance from them versus Colorado and the backup. And then Colorado getting shut out at home to Minnesota after everyone was betting Colorado, it seemed like, all week. I am staying away from the game, but we can give them the -4.5, -112. That's fine. It probably is a buy low. It's definitely paying a premium on the results from Arkansas and then where Texas A&M's been at without King starting under center. So I'm fine with it. I think if I had to bet it, I'm guessing my numbers. I think I said it was closer to 6. So mostly it's 5 in the market. FanDuel, if it's really 4.5 -112, that's fine. I trust you. I didn't look at that specific book, but all is well. What's the other one?
We also got Patrick with Teaser Palooza this week. 6-point advantage teaser Bills -2.5 and Panthers -1.5.
Panthers one is good. I also thought, I'm curious what Patrick thinks, using the Vikings up to 7.5 or 8. I think that's a solid. I mean, Seattle, all they do is play one-score games anyways, but I like getting the home dog. Vikings probably shouldn't really be much of a dog anyway. Not enough to bet the +2s flat, but I like that as an option as well for people that are listening. But we'll lock him into Buffalo. I can give him a -2, -1.5. So Buffalo Bills side will be -2, and then the Carolina side will be -1.5. And if you're looking for a disadvantaged teaser, you could consider Qwan for your Qwan show. Teasing the Lions. No?
I'm listening.
You're listening.
Yeah.
All right, they're playing Baltimore.
Smoke.
Most people are probably going to be teasing Baltimore. Contrarian, flip it on them. No one will expect it. Lions +15, 14.5, depending on the book. You're getting over 2 TDs. Disadvantage teaser, Detroit Lions. And who else? You know who I'm thinking.
Is it going to be the...
I just said that everyone's going to be on Carolina because that's the advantage teaser going through the 7 and the 3. Everyone's like, oh, no, Tyrod Taylor. Preston was right. Best quarterback no one's talking about over the summer. It's Davis Mills or whatever his name is. Flip it back the other way. Disadvantage teaser. Houston up to +14. Lions, Texans. Qwan, use it on your show. No one will be expecting it. He's making a note. He's actually semi-considering this. Hopefully people know I'm just kind of
I'm going to throw it on this.
Joking.
I'm going to throw it on.
Like, Preston had a great idea. He called it a disadvantage teaser. He thought it'd be a good spot for my show.
Here it is, guys.
But you have to do it, though, at least the Lions. You can look at some other ones. Like, here's a question for you. We have to use the Lions because, we have to. What do you think about the Saints, your boy, Jameis Winston, looking fantastic against the Packers in the first game, crap against the Panthers? They are 3-point dogs against the Pats. Disadvantage teaser, get it up to 9. Thoughts? You love Winston. Didn't rub it in early yesterday, but I wanted to make a note at some point this week that as great as you were going on about him and Matthew Stafford after week 1, Winston couldn't do jack against Carolina. That elite, star-struck, studded defense in Carolina, whatever the saying is, nothing.
Yeah, I don't know what happened that week or on Sunday, and they just look bad. And I don't understand. I'm gonna not lie. I don't understand the teaser stuff. I know you can move the.
You get 6 extra points on the team you like, but you have to take 2.
Okay.
So Lions has already won,
Yeah.
+14.5. There's actually one spot that they're
And
+9.
what'd you move the Saints to? And the Packers?
Well, they would be +3 to +9.
To +9.
Playing the Patriots. You could also get a little cute. Look, disadvantage teaser. Chargers, Chiefs. Chiefs don't really care right now. Chargers up to 12.5. Or, look, Chiefs coming off of a loss, 6.5 down to -0.5. All they have to do is win the game. Patrick Mahomes off a loss. Should have beat the Ravens anyway. Easy. Disadvantage teaser. Bring it down to -0.5.
I wouldn't get it for a division game. Putting it up to 12.5.
That sounds better.
No.
Wait, usually division games narrative is that they're closer.
Yeah, you said +12.5?
Yeah, you get 12.5 on the Chargers. So as long as they lose by 12 or less or win the game, you win. And obviously the Lions.
Yeah, that sounds good. I think they're gonna play him close. I think Herbert looks still continuing to look good. That's one young quarterback that I'm really excited about to see how he progresses.
I don't know why I was trying to think of something. I've never heard anyone put it. He's still continuing to look good.
Yeah, because you get that fall. I can't. Who's a quarterback that I can't even think of a comp, but it's you see the growth. I guess a Josh Allen in year 2.
Sure, it took him some time.
Yeah, it takes some time, but
Herbert's been better than Allen ever was initially.
Yeah.
I'll say this. Just his throwing motion and just he launches. It's his deep ball, like it's pure.
Yeah.
It looks good.
It's
Like,
a
it looks like
laser,
he's an
too.
arm. Yeah. He's one of like, if you're just, some guy's dropping back and throwing a 50-yard pass, he's probably on the top of the like 3 list just because it looks so nice. We have callers.
No, we got
Oh.
picks. in
Picks,
the
all
chat.
right.
We
Let's
got
get through 'em.
a question and a pick. Curious on Preston's thoughts on Purdue under 53.5.
I think that moved today.
Liked under 55, but it moved on me. You're ahead of it, see?
Yeah.
That's from Jamie Vick. And his KBO pick of the day is Hanwha Eagles. I'm guaranteed I said that wrong. -1.5 plus 150. Arguably the best pitcher in KBO for Hanwha. And they've been scoring a ton of runs lately despite being in last place. Bullpen game for the opponent.
Interesting. And bullpen game, we mentioned this yesterday. When I was following KBO a little more heavily during COVID, and just like I've like Spreadopedia, for example, we'll have him on for the next show. He's firing like Dominican baseball, Mexican baseball, everything. All he talks about is just how bad the bullpens are. So if they're at a bullpen game entirely, they don't even have one of the, 3 to 4 starters that maybe could play in majors that are starting internationally because they're just better there. No, yeah, all bullpen. I'm with them. Let's do it. Lock them in. But yeah, Purdue, Illinois. If it moved on you, that's unfortunate. I will say, if anything, at the current number, I'm not against going against the move, especially early week moves. Maybe sometimes they're setups anyways. You can get 53s. I prefer over now. I'm checking one thing. Yep, I'm still here.
Patrick said that's the ugliest teaser he's ever heard. I'm pretty sure
That's what we were going for.
Yeah.
the best disadvantaged teaser option on the board. I'm checking weather for you, Jamie, just because it moved. I'm not sure if it was a weather move. Nope, mostly sunny on Saturday. Wind maybe the 8 to 11 mile per hour range at a 3-hour window that is during the game, but pretty much wind for what it's worth. Wouldn't overthink it if it's not like 15 miles per hour plus. So anyways, don't think it's related to that. Maybe it's the sharp side. My numbers thought it was closer to fair when it opened around 55.5. Circa actually opened at 59.5. Then everyone else starts coming out after it settles in. That's way higher than my number, but I mean, that's at least somewhat interesting. I also think if you watched Illinois, Maryland, there were multiple drives that, I don't know, I wouldn't get too caught up in that final score. And Maryland scored twice at the end, I think, to even make it happen. But that's a game that probably should have quite a few more points on both sides. A lot of weird times of stalled drives and some of the underlying metrics point. I think my expected points in that game was like over 10 more than the actual. So anyway, just don't wouldn't get caught up there. And especially if you miss the move on a relatively key number, like say 54 or 55 in that range, wouldn't chase it now. And yeah, if anything, I would look over. Did we have anyone else? You said you gave me the 2-ball, or was it because he had a question plus? Uh-oh, are you someone calling you out for not? What's the air?
Joey said I missed one of his picks, so I'm dealing with that.
How many picks does he have in?
He said he was 5-1, so I'm missing one, and one's the other way. If you guys got questions about where you are, hop in the chat, and I'll talk to you. We got to get Last Word Cheetah going, though.
Look, it's a makeshift show because we don't have the phone lines working. The industry has been hacked. We've been told that for 2 days. But we'll sort it out, Joe. If you're really 5-1, he'll be able to double check. He has it on. He actually uses a pen and paper. So it's there if it's there. We'll double check, and we can always go back and listen to the audio. Should I just get into my totals? I think that's probably what I should do. And if we end up stopping this early, all is well, and we'll have Who Wants to Be Betting Extraordinaire in about 40 minutes. Yesterday, quick recap of those that missed it. Sides, UNLV, which, by the way, has moved off of all the 31s, are gone now. It's 30.5. So well done. I know we had a few callers that also like the UNLV side. Wisconsin, -4.5 to -5.5 range. That's up to 6.5 now. Central Michigan, I believe, is like a 10 flat. I think that's still a worthwhile buy. Missouri -2 and 2.5. I thought that was good. We talked Iowa -22, 22.5. Oklahoma State under the 7. UTSA 3.5 or better. Wouldn't bet the 3s, and I'm not sure if that's completely gone. No, there's still plenty of 3.5s. Yeah, not plenty. About half of the screen is 3.5. Half is 3 flat. Wouldn't bet 3 again. Rutgers, interestingly enough, liked it. Today they announced they suspended 2 of their starting corners, and one is like their best corner. In the secondary, it's tough to say like how much of a difference in a point spread it's going to make. I wouldn't go crazy on Rutgers at 19, 18.5, which is where it was yesterday. On the news, it's moved up now as high as 21, 20.5 most places. I would just pass at this point. But if I liked 19, 18.5, take out 2 corners, and I have actual values on the guys. And I was looking at this earlier. I was talking about it with someone else as well. And now you can get plus 21. It's still a buy. There's a couple spots that are 21. So for what it's worth, take it with what you will. Iowa State, I'm pretty sure that's still gone. That one, be watching it, but anything under 7's a buy, but wouldn't play it at 7. FAU was another one that I'm not sure the current price. Is it 4.5 yet? Yeah, so I liked it smaller at 5, 5.5 yesterday. It was 6 earlier. And Tennessee's the other one that this one won't move. I mean, everyone loves the Florida stuff after seeing them against Bama, and I talked through that. But that's the extent of the sides that I showed a discrepancy between my numbers, the market. One that went against me really was Central Michigan. Well, yesterday it was 9.5. Now it's back up to 10, but I initially even liked it at 10.5, and then it went to 9.5. So now it's probably just going to settle in here. That's where we're at. Totals. I have 4, and then there's 2 I'm waiting on. One, because there was a book that moved a 1.5 up that I like under that may be an indicator for future movement. Going to wait on that one. And another one I'm just digging into more. But first total, I think this one will be pretty wild. Again, I talked about the Maryland-Illinois game I thought was a weird final score result relative to expected points based on kind of just the general underlying numbers, play to play, possession to possession. Kent State, Maryland, over anything. I'm pretty sure there's still a bunch of 68, 68.5. Yes, there's a couple 69s getting posted now. But that one, look, both teams are top in pace. Kent State's played Iowa and A&M, and they only scored a couple of times against each team, which is actually impressive. They were able to score it all. When they played the FCS opponent, they dropped 60. Maryland's defense nowhere near A&M and Iowa. So that's the first one. 68.5 or better. Kent State, Maryland. I think both sides run it up. We lost someone. I mean, I'm just not planning on taking calls, but who was it? Oh, okay. Joey's trying to let us know which pick it was that maybe you missed.
I think I missed.
He can DM me or you, and we can sort it out, man. Don't worry about it. We'll get it. But if you're 5-1, you're probably plus 3.9.
Yeah.
Okay, 3.94. He's got it down. Maybe we gave him like a minus 108 or 106.
I missed one, and one was off.
Okay, cool. Other one, this weird Georgia Southern thing where they stink like horribly. Then they had like the supposed was going to be the starter, although I still think that was like a cover. And they weren't actually going to be the starter. And then he played last week, and it wasn't any better, really. Maybe slightly better, but going up against ULL. And plus, Georgia Southern just tries to slow the game down as much as they can to start, regardless, fewer possessions. That's one at 54.5 and 54. I think it's a worthwhile buy. Under UCLA, Stanford. Let's go back to the UCLA. Well, why not? They just put up 179 because they gave up so many to Fresno. I'm still tilted by that as a Bruins fan, that final drive. Regardless, it's been getting bet down a little bit throughout the week. 58, 58.5 is a buy for me over on a Stanford team, which, by the way, better than we anticipated entering the year. It's okay to admit it. Luckily, didn't really bet against them a ton. I haven't bet against them at all other than the season win total over the summer, actually. So I feel like I've escaped to some degree there. But shout out, I think it's Tanner McKee's the quarterback. I mean, they're taking shots that they just haven't taken in the past offensively. It's just more open. They're going up against UCLA defense that we talked about last week. This regression was due for like how many yards and the success rate allowed and how many points were actually being scored. look, Fresno State capitalized. Stanford can capitalize. And by the way, Stanford's defense still bad. One of the worst they've had under Shaw last year. Hasn't really changed. So UCLA, I mean, honestly, the fact that Vandy was able to score 23 or 24 and run the football the way that they did, and now you have UCLA's run game, they're just going to eat. Anyway, it should be in the 60s, so I like that one over. And the last one, this is probably the most contrarian of them all. Let me find it, 397. Clemson, NC State over 47. Look, everyone's going to look at this Clemson football team. I'm going to just pull it up. Final score against Georgia Tech, 14-8. There was a weird delay, but like everyone's like, wow, this Clemson offense has issues. It's true. It does. It's not the same without Etienne, Trevor Lawrence, etc. They couldn't even score against Georgia. Not many teams have, but they only scored 3 points. They scored 49 on South Carolina State. This is all I'm going to like kind of preface it or lay it out there like this. NC State, we were bullish NC State. No reason to like get off of that bandwagon so far. Devin Leary, that offense can move it to some degree at least here. Their defense isn't anything special. If you had asked me if this was a week 1 game where I lined NC State Clemson, it would have been like mid-50s. I think I checked, and it was closer to 56. So 56, we'll call it. I was looking a couple hours ago. I should have remembered. It was between 55 and 56. It's 47 now. Yes, maybe Clemson's offense isn't quite as good. They've also been running at a way slower pace than necessary because they've fallen into these really close games with Georgia Tech and Georgia. This one will be a little more up and down in NC State, on top of the fact that their offense just isn't this bad. I promise. It's not we average 8 points a game bad. So that one's weird. I don't think anyone's going to really agree with it. But I think that's kind of, we talk overreactions after a couple of weeks all the time. It's usually from a side's perspective. I think this is the biggest overreaction in a total this week on the college football board. Maybe Clemson's D holds NC State to like 10. It's possible. But I think NC State and Devin Leary can move it, and Clemson should absolutely be able to here against the second worst defense they've seen so far, potentially. So with that being said, hopefully no thunder delays and whatever else was happening. They had a few hours against Georgia Tech also in the middle of it was actually late second quarter, and then it was like they ditched halftime, so they couldn't make any adjustments. So it just turned into this like prevent offense. Let's just try to hold the lead that you would normally do in fourth quarters, but for like 35 minutes. It was very strange. So anyways, leaving it at that. Those are the 4 totals. And then 2 I'm keeping an eye on, which I'll mention if it's official later this week. The first being Cal, Washington. It moved to 47 at circa from 45.5 today at 8:38 a.m. Interesting. Moved it a 1.5. I'm surprised the rest of the market hasn't moved since. So maybe it was just one random bet, but also could be an indicator that everywhere else is going to move to 47. Most are 46 or 46.5. Would be nice to have an under 47 instead of 46, 46.5. I don't think there's a rush there to bet under. And there was one more. Oh, I think I just haven't adjusted partly to Western Kentucky and partly to Indiana's defense not being as good this year. There's some signs, but I will say that my number's quite a bit lower than 64, and it moved up from 63 to 64 today, which was also concerning. I'm just maybe completely off. So I'm going to dig in a little more, ask around, get some other opinions, but that's the other one I'm considering. I may just fire with it with the number anyway. But, yeah, I mean, Western Kentucky, let me just pull up their schedule real quick. For people that are not following regularly, they just won a game lost the game 38-35 to Army. Also, they had a bye week to prep here for Indiana. Doesn't hurt and under, I don't think, having an extra week prep there. They scored 59 against Tennessee Martin. They only scored, there we go. This is 2 games because they had the bye. So, are they really going to be like 70 to 80s every game? Tennessee Martin and Army aren't nearly as good defensively as Indiana. Even if Indiana's defense is a tier below where they were a year ago, their offense still has some issues too. I have to just probably end up trusting why this moved up. I don't know, but I think they'll end up playing under 64 there. Haven't yet. I'll confirm it later tomorrow or the next day, but those are the other 2 I'm looking at. What's up? You've been taking some calls. I'm done. I'm good.
No calls, but we got some bets in the chat.
Okay, where are we at?
And we got some questions. Fran Millionaire says, "Hey Preston, are you familiar with Wong teasers? Is it best to wait until later in the week to get the teasers in?"
We just did an entire. By the way, Hayden wants to lock in. Probably Hayden from Dallas, Ohio. Plus 15.
Yeah,
you got that? All right. We just did a little fake segment on disadvantaged teasers. So Patrick wanted to lock in. His was Carolina and who was the other team?
Bills.
Thank you. So yes, going through the 7 and the 3, I understand. I've been asked this on podcasts before, and this is always my answer, and so you can kind of go with it how you will, but it's a good question. The reason he's asking about waiting is because closer to kickoff, say Sunday morning, you're going to get a more efficient market, right? So the Wong teaser, theoretically, historically, it's profitable, teasing through the key numbers. And it's also probably even more profitable if you're looking at it from a standpoint of, hey, this is like almost closing line. Like this is what the line should be, right? If you're doing it earlier in the week, there's a chance, for example, let's say you like a team that's plus 2.5. You want to tease it to 8.5. You like the dog. If later that week, say you do that on Monday or Tuesday, and on Thursday it moves to plus 3, you would be better off betting plus 3 than you would teasing that team up to 8.5 with another leg that also has to come in. So you have to be pretty confident in what you're doing in your process, regardless, betting earlier in the week, that you're going to be on the right side of movement anyway. If you are, I think it's fine doing it early. Sometimes injuries or weird COVID, whatever, scratches can happen. So that's another thing to maybe you want to wait more frequently in these days than in the past. But I'll say if you're generally on the right side, then I think you're safe to just go for it. So, for example, let's see, I'm looking at that Minnesota one, right? I mentioned it earlier. The Vikings 1.5, 2 at home to Seattle. I would be shocked if that went to plus 3. Use it in a teaser. If anything, that might go to pick or just even plus 1 where you can't get over a 7, right? Now you're sitting at 6 or 7 flat, which then it's not an advantage teaser anymore. So that's one where like I'm somewhat trusting, like, hey, I don't want to wait. I just don't think Minnesota plus 3 at home against Seattle is going to exist outside of an injury or COVID thing. So you kind of have to be able to trust your general process. If you're on the right side of moves anyway, pretty frequently, fire teasers earlier in the week. If you're not, and you're just like, hey, I know these are an advantage. I have a spot I can do a 6-point at minus 110. Wait until Sunday morning and then, mold the ones that fit the bill and go from there. What else? What else we got?
We got, you got the Hayden bet, Ohio plus 15.
Yeah,
Ryan from New York wants Dodgers money line tonight.
Okay. By the way, that game might be in the betting extraordinaire question for Carlos. Day 5, $2,500. Dodgers are playing the Rockies, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Urias against Senzatella. Dodgers, I can give him the best prices minus 200 flat. So we'll lock him in for minus 200.
Ken wanted Clemson minus 10 for this weekend.
Ooh, so you heard me talking about that game. I'll say this. People bought NC State early, went to 9.5. It's been pushed back to 10 most places. It's probably about where it's going to settle. It's one of those for me where if you gave me plus 11, I'd take NC State. If you gave me minus 9.5, I'd take Clemson. I think 10's spot on. Can't disagree with you, though. I hope you're right. If they cover 10, it means they're finally scoring, moving the ball against a team that isn't an FCS school, and the over probably gets there. So I'm on his side in that sense. We'll root for Clemson to drop 40-plus themselves, and Leary and company can just score 10, and we'll be in good shape. Qwan, why are you smiling deceivingly over there while you type on the keyboard?
I mean, the chat's pretty funny, man. Tone's talking trash. We got a good screen name here. J-Lo on a butter roll.
That's good. Hopefully that's his DFS name or something. Any other questions? Any other thoughts?
We got Tone's taking the Mets in the money line tonight.
I bet he is. Let me see. Has it started yet? No in-game. Stroman. Oh, he's fading the train, the Red Sox truck. I can give him plus 124. Plus 124 is the best price there.
Joey from New Jersey is J-Lo on a butter roll. He had a pick that I tried to take down, but I lost him. But
for KBO,
I don't think it's KBO.
Oh.
Joey, submit your pick again.
That's Jamie, right? Yeah, Joey's separate.
What was the price on Tone and the Mets?
124. Although, no joke, in the time that I said it and you asked before you wrote it down, it clicked and moved at Westgate to 123. Tone, I'll give you the 124, though. I'm just that nice of a guy.
Joey's got Mizzou -2.
I like it. I told you guys, I don't think the market's correctly valuing the drop-off at quarterback for Boston College with Jerkovich and beating Temple and holding them to 0. No, did Temple score 3 at the end? I think I made that mistake yesterday, too. It was like a 28-3 final. Yeah, I think that should be over a field goal. Getting under a field goal now is worthwhile. I did say this, though, yesterday. Not always right on market moves, direction. I know some guys, if you're looking at like priors going into the year, you don't think the quarterback drop-off for a team like in school like Boston College is significant. Generally, numbers guys, modelers I know have this flipped. And by generally, I mean like there's probably 3 or 4 people I spoke with. I'm saying the drop-off from Jerkovich to the backup is like 6 points, though. They're like, no, it's 2, 1.5. So that's the difference, basically. You're either right on analyzing or assessing his value. Like Jerkovich was one of the best quarterbacks in the country last year, honestly. Like he did amazing things for Boston College. So I think it's pretty significant. We'll see. But my point of that was I think, if anything, you could maybe get this lower later in the week when the limits open back up, the modeling numbers guys come in and start hitting BC more. Could be wrong too, but I was like, you don't need to rush to bet that one. I don't think it's like going to just go to a 3 or 3.5. Also, someone very significant and influential that agrees with me could come in and actually bet Missouri side later. Who knows? We'll see. Why are you smiling again?
Because
you're stressing me out.
Listen, man, no, it's Tone and Carlos are making friends.
Tone knows Carlos is about to get liquid. Tone's like, hey, yo, let's partner up.
Let's get this money together. Carlos put in, are the Twins playing the Cubs? Under 8?
Honestly, that game probably started. He usually does that. At least it hasn't. Maybe he has a shot today for the betting extraordinaire. Yeah, he wants under 8.
Yeah.
-107.
Okay. We got Jamie Vick asking, could you touch on the total in the Michigan game? Surprised it keeps moving down. Rutgers playing with a bit faster pace this year. And Michigan tends to run it up at home, given the chance.
I mean, I think that's fair, especially considering the guys we just talked about why Michigan moved up. There was an announcement. Let me just find the actual note. Someone messaged it to me earlier. Rutgers secondary takes a bit of hit as cornerbacks Malachi Melton and Chris Long were suspended, according to a statement released by head coach Greg Schiano earlier today. Jersey Sporting News. Shout out. So, Michigan line goes up. Total goes down. 2 corners are out in the secondary. Maybe it's a safety in a corner for Rutgers. It doesn't make sense to me much either. I'll say this. I don't have my numbers in front of me. I have it up on my tab on my phone, actually. This will be quicker. What's the rotation? 401. If the corners, this is pre-corner news on Rutgers, I had this higher. Man, now you're starting to convince me. I can, like, worst case, go 1-1 if I take the dog and the over. Because if Rutgers don't, if they don't cover, it's because Michigan runs it up, probably drops 40-something themselves. I'm still here. Let's check up on, thunderstorms in Ann Arbor. Isolated. Let me check a couple things here. I have a couple little secret spots I can value this a little bit. We're looking Saturday at like a noonish game. West Coast. So wind, 12 miles an hour range. Precipitation isn't super high. It's only 24 to 35%, but it's scattered, isolated thunderstorms, mostly cloudy. Look, it's not beautiful. My guess is my projection would go down just over a point. Doing that off the top of my head. Regardless, I still lean your way over, but it is interesting it moved down after the news that the corners are out. And the wind and the rain chances aren't enough to influence this too much more. So it could have been someone that got the news like, hey, bunch of thunderstorms and potential rain that just was taking a shot, but I'm not sure I agree with it, to be honest. So once we've kind of narrowed it down, maybe it's worth 1 to 1.2 points, but nothing too significant. Why are you smiling again?
We got a response from Hayden yesterday about you asking if.
Oh, yeah.
So
he has to.
He said he doesn't. And we also got Patrick. Patrick's becoming a character, man. I'll also call bullshit on callers tailing Preston's picks. Fucking weak.
There are some that have called and done similar college plays that I've done. It's not like that often, though. And maybe he was a Cam that needled him yesterday. He was like, oh, yeah, Cam's one of the guys that calls in and just says whatever Preston likes on Wednesday. It's possible he's done it before, but most of you guys are asking questions and doing your own games. Man, I was close on West Virginia, Oklahoma. That just moved down. It was 59 yesterday, overnight. Now it's down 56 and a half some spots. That's probably the right side. That Oklahoma-Nebraska game, man, that's concerning. I know there were a few like missed field goal drives in there, but 3 straight games now for Rattler where he just is not. Oh, this Oklahoma offense just isn't going to be as good. Riley can do as much as he can do, but if Rattler can't throw a ball accurately, then they're not going to generate as much through the run game. He's just not as good. No surprise. Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield, who have all turned out to be pretty good quarterbacks in the NFL. So concerning on the Oklahoma front overall. Just saw that lighting up on the screen, so thought it was interesting. By the way, someone keeps banging Stanford. It's down to 4 now. Told someone I would let them know if it got to 4. UCLA down to 4 some spots. I don't know. I think it should be where it was, that 5.5, 6 range. I'm still pretty bullish UCLA. Embarrassing Fresno State last drive. But also, look, Stanford, I've upgraded them heavily. The offense, I prefer, again, just to bet the over like we did Fresno State, UCLA, and ride with that. But now it's down to 4. I know people that laid the early opener 3.5. So some battling opinions. Just give me points. I want points. No more smiles from Qwan. Are we good? Are things winding down?
Yeah, no more picks in the chat. No.
Someone said, Tom Davis said he wants Texas over. I'm guessing he means college Texas over. 61. There's 160.5. I can give you 60.5 over. It's come down a little bit, but Sarkisian against Texas Tech, who just keeps dropping 50 on everyone. My personal number, I remember looking in that game thinking it was low, and then when I actually ran stuff, just a second, yeah, I was like right at 60, so I was actually a little bit lower. Anyway, I'm staying away, but we'll lock Tom Davis in for that. That was in Periscope chat if you missed it in YouTube. I'm not sure which one he's on. Yeah, he just confirmed. Over 60.5. We'll give him that.
Did you get?
He went 5-0 last week, so I don't know. Maybe listen to him. He won August. He was up like 16 units in August. Like, the guy's a crusher.
Did you tell me Ryan from Maryland's? I think
Ryan from Maryland. Miami Marlins under 8. Don't know if there's any 8.5. I just saw that one. You want me to check?
Yeah.
Or did you already write it down?
I did. I just saw it.
There is no 8.5. If anything, the under's juiced on the 8. So 8 minus 108 is the best price I see. Yep, minus 108. So a little bit better than you wrote, Ryan. Thanks, man. I think that's it. We're going to wrap it up. In 15 minutes, we're going to have Carlos and Jason at Spreadopedia. Carlos got a chance to win $2,500. Then he'll be 2 picks from $25,000 in his pocket. Dude was asking me yesterday, he's like, when do you need my Cash App or Venmo?
He sent me his Cash App during the show.
When you texted me, I was like, and you said, did Carlos message you? I was like, I wonder if he messaged Carlos the same thing. was like, Carlos, first and foremost, you're still alive. I know you got the day 3 250 with Joey, but like you got a chance to win still. Also, if you win all 7 days and win 25,000, I can't Venmo you 25K. Probably have to send you a check. We'll get it to you, but like, hold your horses, man. He must really need the money. Quan is right.
There's some Russian people outside his house. Or
He's like, hold on, I'm on last word Cheetah. I got a pick.
That kid showing up for his payday. We got
guys. I'm on day 5 of last word Cheetah.
We got 2 questions before we leave. Carlos asks, "Who's worse, Akron, UMass, or UConn?"
Who's worse?
Yeah,
I mean,
probably gonna go with UConn.
are they asking you?
No, they're asking you.
Look, they're all bad. Let me look. I have a separate tab here for my actual power numbers that I just give you an idea. Mother of pearl, this is ugly. All right. The worst team in the country. Oh, he totally forgot. Look, New Mexico State still's been the worst every week for me. Hold on a second. They beat South Carolina State by 8. Congrats. They did cover against San Diego State and New Mexico. They've moved up. I will say they were a few points below the next worst team, which you're probably wondering is UConn. So for what it's worth, you forgot them. UMass next worst. Bowling Green is there. Akron's actually a tick above that tier. But New Mexico State making headway against UConn. They're almost identical. Oh my gosh. Now the question is, just from a sheer power number standpoint, game script changes the actual point spread between an Alabama-New Mexico State matchup. But how many points better do you think on a neutral field I make Alabama than New Mexico State? Or
on
UConn?
A neutral field?
Neutral field,
That
Alabama,
really doesn't matter.
UConn.
I would
What's
say
the spread?
probably at least 40.
Yes, at least 40 is correct.
Let's go 49. 49 and a half.
So they either win by more than 7 TDs or less than that. My guess is, by the way, did you know what the Bama spread is this week?
No.
Just a second. They're playing Southern Miss. They're laying 45. Southern Miss is a lot better than those other teams.
Yes. Man, this is embarrassing. I wouldn't want to say like 56.
Yeah, it's even higher than that.
It's higher than what
now,
is it?
Here's the thing. That's just sheer full strength if they were to play. Look, Saban isn't playing starter second half of that game.
Yeah, that
But now,
doesn't matter.
So now the 63 becomes like 56, maybe even a little bit lower. Maybe it's 54 and a half. 49 and a half's for sure low, though.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, that's the discrepancy there. Best team in the country, worst team in the country.
Tone asks, how much do you like Nebraska money line?
I mean, I haven't looked into like, maybe it's a good money line round robin underdog. I could see like, all right, Michigan State's a little overrated now, but they're doing well. Like before the year, this wouldn't have been line Sparty -5 or, the money line. Yeah, I could see it. Theoretically, I think it's fair at 4.5, 5 range, but it's not a bad money line option, Tone. I do agree with you there.
That's it.
All right, we're going to wrap it up. 11 minutes, 12 minutes. We're going to go live. Who wants to be a betting extraordinaire? Carlos. Don't call in right away. I'm going to send you and DM you a link. You'll use the link to call in since the phone lines have been hacked again. First is Jason. Not going to be super long, but he'll break down the 4 games for a couple of minutes. Take it in. Then we'll have you make your decision. Chance for $2,500. Carlos, talk to you soon. Everyone else, appreciate you guys just hanging, getting through there in the chat. We'll lock in all of those bets you guys sent in. Qwan, I saw him writing them all down. We'll get it sorted. And hopefully the hackers stop by tomorrow. They actually said what might work is changing our phone number. So worst case, we'll adjust the phone number and that might help. So tomorrow, by the way, Steam warning. Forgot to mention. 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific, but we'll be back for Last Word Cheetah at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific as usual. Thanks again, guys.